Hey, welcome to my next video. Today we are drawing some sketches of K-pop idols. Just introducing two groups that are featured, Stacy and Purple Kiss. Those were the reference images that I used, so let's get to it. The recording before I started. Okay, here we go. So the timer's going off and I'm establishing the background, because if we don't draw in the background roughly, then it'll just look like the characters floating in space, and we want to account for volume when we are sketching. That is at least how I like to sketch. Everybody's different. So the reference image that you see is from a photo book, and so she's laying on a couch, and the first thing that I personally go to is making sure that my perspective lines match up to the reference image, and so far they are. And here we are going into the drawing, and here this is where I struggle, because if you don't know me personally, I don't do a lot of these sketches, so doing foreshortening with the legs that crisscross over each other is a little bit harder, but I am way more than up for a challenge. It's a little bit more challenging, but I like a challenge, and so here we are. The front leg that is above the other one, I really struggled with this one because I don't do a lot of these, so you can see how my lines are very not confident, and there's no, like, it doesn't feel confident, like I know where to place the lines, and that's because I don't. But the main purpose of this is to warm up, because this is the first drawing, and I'm gonna be honest, I was not warmed up. I had worked an 8-hour day, so it was just a very long day, and then I decided to record. So I don't plan these. Sometimes I wish I did, because then I would have the proper, like, mindset going into the drawing, but I was pretty tired. But anyways, we're establishing the skirt, and we still haven't even drawn the arms or the face, and that's where I feel like I need to do a lot of these. It really helps me to just get more confident and get used to sketching faster and more loosely and more confident. Confident is key. Even if they're quick decisions, I need to be more confident with where I place the lines, because having that confidence really shows through the drawing. And for a first sketch, I have not sketched in days, so I'm trying to do more of these. And right now we are at the 2-minute mark, and so still, if I personally were doing this, I would have established all the face and the face features with the body language, making sure that it's as proportionate as it can be, using the reference, of course. But I would say for a first sketch, this is pretty good, because it is the warm-up, and this is the purpose of the warm-up, is to get used and, like, to warm up, the hands. So I really do find these fun, and I just don't do them often. And I really do enjoy the fact that, like, it is challenging, and it really pushes me to really focus on what I'm drawing and be more strategic with how I'm placing the lines, because I do struggle a lot, and I don't draw as often as I should. But I digress. And so at the 1-minute mark, this is where I'm like panicking, trying to lay down all the face features and the neck and the hair, and add on the hat before the timer runs out. And I would say for a first sketch, it's pretty good. I'm pretty proud of myself. I always compare my current work to my past work, and that is like 14 years. So I'm really happy. I really enjoy how the how it came out, even though it's very rough. I really enjoy it, and I think that this is a good start. And if I keep doing this, it'll only get more easier because I'll be more confident and more used to it. It takes a lot of practice to get used to it, and it takes, time to get good at it because it is not easy. And then this is where the time runs out, and I still draw against the clock. So I still draw against the clock even though it literally ran out. But we stopped, or I stopped. And so this is generally a 5-minute sketch. So here we go. They're standing against the staircase. So this one was a little bit more easier, manageable, and that's where I try to use my time to really make sure that everything is proportionate. So again, I never draw the person before I draw the background. The background helps me establish the proportion, and so I try to stay as anatomically correct as possible. It's never easy, but it takes time. And so this is pretty good. We are making decent progress. It took me a while to get good at this. Generally, in the past, it has taken me more than like 30 minutes to get a rough background, like all sketched out. But I would say that this roughly took me like 2 minutes out of the 5 minutes. So I try to make sure that I don't go over the half minute. I try not to use half of the time doing just the background. I try to use less than half the time. But I would say I did pretty good. I got like 2 minutes or like 1 minute and a half. And that was pretty good for me to just establish the background so that the character is kind of proportionate to what I'm drawing. But again, as you can see, a little bit iffy. This is where I'm like trying to plan out in my head how long the body is, because I do have an issue with where I place I have an issue with like how long the body actually is, because when you see it, the kind of like hips is too small, so I end up having to shrink it and trying to like elongate it because it's just slightly smaller. So I try to keep it in mind, and sometimes it's a little bit harder. The thing that would help, what I find would help me personally, is just to do more studies of like the human anatomy, because it would just help me improve my proportion, because my proportion is lacking. But for the most part, I feel like I make up in that department with how stylized my characters are and how I try to capture the facial features to keep it as close to the reference as possible. So this is where I kind of see like the body isn't as proportionate as I want it to be. Like it's kind of I feel like the shoulders, the torso could be a little bit more higher up, like just slightly, but that's just me being nitpicky and me just trying to focus on the general picture, which is capturing everything, including just like establishing the clothes and the hair and the facial features, trying to make sure that I just also have fun, because the purpose of this is just to have fun doing what I like, and I do like drawing K-pop idols. And if you don't know, this is Stacy. So the first two reference images are Stacy, and I do like them. I do listen to their music, and I've collected their albums over the past 2 years. But anyways, we are reaching the 1 minute mark, and this is where I kind of panicking because I'm just trying to make sure I get a majority of the details, like the bag, making sure that like it kind of follows the, try to make sure it's similar as close as possible to the reference image. But again, it's always fun to put in your own twist, and I think that the more I do these, I can get more confident and just really have fun, because honestly, this is like the type of art that I really enjoy, because it's just really fun to make art of my favorite idols, and I think that it's good. It is good. I personally like it. And so this is where I'm like, okay, what else can I add before the timer runs out? And so I forgot to add the shoes. And so I go a little bit over not relying on the undo button, because I feel like I definitely do. And so here we are, the final image. She is laying down, so there's a lot of challenging perspective involved, but I'm pretty confident because I was pretty warmed up by then. And so as you can see in the reference image, she's laying down and she has a drink in her hand, and so a portion of her body is kind of like off camera or out of, what do you call it, out of vision. But I am trying to be more confident with like how I draw, because the hand that I'm drawing is like really elongated, and I didn't capture this on camera, but I did go back and fix that because I felt like it was too long. But that was something that I didn't do on camera because I just ran out of time. And so I struggle with like the hands a lot because I don't draw them. And so if you don't draw a lot of short-handed sketches of like things you're trying to draw, it's just really hard to kind of like make it look right. But I would say that the hands are my least concern. I would say that overall I did do my best to capture it. And so here we're like at the 3-minute mark, and I'm still like focused on this hand when I should have been trying to establish the head and then the body. But here I am getting lost in the details, but that's okay, because again, this is not like, it's not like a client work, it's not like a freelance job, it's personal, like just fun art, which is honestly not a bad thing. It's always more fun when you're doing art for yourself. And so I don't draw a lot of these like wine cups. If I'm gonna be honest, the hand is not even correctly sitting on the drink. So as you can see, I don't draw a lot of hands, so the the cup is just floating in midair and then just taking a casual sip. But for the most part, I was just mainly focused on trying to capture everything, and then I had 2 minutes and I realized that I was running out of time. And so that's where if I had paid attention, I would have made sure that the drink was actually in the hand and not just like floating, but it's okay. But as you can see here, when I'm like drawing the lines for the hair and doing that, like you can see that there's a confidence behind it, behind like the curves, and then I'm not like constantly scratching it or like drawing over what I had put down. And that comes after warming up and just being confident in the work that you do, just being confident in yourself, honestly. And that does help the mindset of just feeling like you got it all, like you can do it. I think that helps a lot when it comes to drawing. because I do struggle with that. But again, we're reaching the 1 minute mark, and so I haven't even established the background, so it depends on the image, but generally I like to establish the background and foreground, or if there are any. But I would say at this point we did a pretty good job. And I'm pretty proud of what I did, because honestly, I feel like I shouldn't set low expectations for myself. Like, I should constantly aim to be better and to constantly aim to improve. Like, there's always things to learn, but we have 15, less than 10 seconds left, and I would say the likeness is kind of there, but because I was running out of time and I didn't establish everything, I literally ran out of time. But I would say for the most part, I did a good job. And I think going forward, the more I do these, the more confident I'll be. But I would say that because I had literally worked an 8-hour shift after or before doing these drawings, I was extremely tired, so it's good. Here I go, showcasing the first, second, and third images of my my sketches. So as you can see, it's like very rough. The outline was highlighted as much as I could, but the placement of the hands and the foreshortening of the legs are pretty good. And then I forgot to draw the eyebrows. For this one, I forgot to draw the eyebrows, but that's okay. And then this one was pretty standard. It was more manageable because it was front on and there weren't any foreshortening perspective going on, so it was pretty easy to like establish the shapes and make sure it was readable, but the proportions need to be worked on. And for this one, I had warmed up, and I feel like if I had done like 3 more, I would have been pretty confident. So I hope you enjoyed. I personally like drawing K-pop idols. I honestly don't think I could live without K-pop, but I just have to personally say thank you for watching, and I hope that you consider subscribing, and if you enjoy this content, feel free to give a thumbs up. But again, I just want to say I apologize for like whispering, but I live with family, so I'm just trying to make sure that like their voices are not caught in the video or the audio. So I do appreciate your help, and I really hope that you have a great time, and maybe we can do another video where you can actually see my face. But I apologize for this, that it's not like a camera setup. But if you would like to see more of the camera setup where I have you can see me drawing in real time, I'll try to do more of that, so it's not just like a you don't see just the iPad screen. So I hope you have a good one, and thank you, and bye bye. Peace out, Girl Scout.